Hi, I'm Amanda, and welcome to this 20-minute energy boosting yoga sequence based on the Ashtanga Primary Series. We're going to start by just taking some deep breaths, maybe bringing our hands to prayer and heart center, finding equal length inhales and exhales. Now let's move to the top of the mat, starting to warm ourselves up with our sun salutation. Inhale the arms up, exhale as we fold over the legs. Inhale to lengthen out. Exhale, moving through our chaturanga or our push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhaling to downward facing dog for 5 deep breaths here. Since this is our first downward dog, maybe walking out the legs, bending one knee and then the other, pressing the feet into the mat, pressing the palms into the mat. Bringing our gaze towards the wall behind us, finding some length through the back of the neck. And as we inhale, let's bring the feet back up to the top of the mat. Exhale as we fold over the legs. Let's inhale all the way back up to Samasthiti. And as we inhale, let's move into another sun salutation. Exhale as we fold. Inhale as we find length. Exhale, moving through our vinyasa. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward dog. Really pressing the palms into the mat, pressing the feet into the mat. Bringing the navel in towards the spine to help protect the lower back. Keeping our spine long, keeping our neck long, and our face relaxed. Staying here for just 5 breaths. And then we'll start to make our way back to the top of the mat. We'll start to bend our knees as we inhale, step or hop the feet up. Exhale as we fold over the legs. And let's inhale all the way back up to the top of the mat in Samasthiti. And as we inhale, let's come to our chair pose. Exhale as we fold over the legs. Inhale to a flat spine. Exhaling back through our push-up again. Inhale to Urdhva Mukha. Exhaling to Adho Mukha. Let's bring the right foot forward into our warrior one here. Squaring the hips towards the top of the mat. Palms come together, gazing towards the thumbs. Placing a deep bend in that front leg. On an exhale, let's bring the hands in line with the foot and move through another vinyasa. Then we'll take our warrior on the second side, bringing our left foot forward, inhaling up, palms together. Finding a deep lunge here. We want to get the knee right above the ankle. And as we exhale, the hands come in line with the foot and we'll move through our vinyasa. Coming back to our downward facing dog for a few deep breaths. Pressing the palms, pressing the feet into the mat, really activating the bandhas, activating the core. And bending the knees. As we inhale, we'll bring the feet back up to the top of the mat. Exhale as we fold. And moving through our chair pose, straightening out the legs to the top of our mat. Let's bring our hands to our waist as we inhale. Exhale, let's fold over the legs, bringing the feet about hip width apart. Inhale as we find length. Exhale as we fold in towards the legs. We're trying to get the hips right above the ankles here. The peace fingers are wrapped around the big toes. Elbows come out to the side. Lengthening out of the lower back, finding some space there. Pulling the navel in towards the spine to help us find more space to fold into. Inhaling to a halfway lift, hands to waist, and making our way all the way back up to standing to Samasthiti. Let's step back with the right foot, moving into triangle pose. So we're going to grab the right big toe with the right peace fingers. Left hand comes up towards the ceiling, bringing our gaze towards the left hand. If that hurts the neck at all, we can also look down towards the mat. Wherever we're at, let's start to lean back slightly to open up through the chest more. Exhaling as we release, inhaling back up, and as we exhale, we'll take it on the second side. Gazing up towards the right palm this time. Pressing both feet equally into the mat. And as we exhale, looking towards the mat, inhale back up, making our way towards the top of the mat. Let's take an even larger step back with the right foot and moving into side angle pose. So deep bend in the right knee. The hand's going to come to the outside of the foot and the left fingertips are going to swing all the way up and over. So we have one long line from the fingertips to the outside of that straight leg. Both feet are pressing into the mat evenly, firing up the bandhas. Inhaling back up, and as we exhale, taking it on the second side. So getting that bent knee right above the ankle, looking up towards the extended palm. Feeling a nice opening throughout the hips. Exhale as we release. Inhale back up, and coming back to the top of the mat. And let's come into a wide stance, hands to waist. Exhale as we fold over the legs. Inhale to a halfway lift. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the crown of the head down towards the mat in our Prasarita A. So the feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart, and they should be parallel, toes facing forward. We want to try to walk the palm of our hands in line with the heels of the foot, trying to bring the crown of the head down towards the mat. If it does not reach, that is perfectly fine as well. That's just where we're aiming for. Let's inhale as we come halfway up and make our way all the way back up to standing. Inhale as we lengthen the arms, interlacing the fingers. As we exhale, let's fold forward, bringing the crown of the head down towards the mat again. This time we're going to try to bring the fingers towards the top of the mat. Opening up through the chest, bringing the crown of the head down towards the mat. Breathing here. Rolling some of the weight toward the balls of the feet. As we inhale, let's come all the way back to standing, making our way back to the top of the mat again. And moving into pyramid pose, we're going to grab hold of the opposite elbows behind us. Inhale as we open up through the chest. As we exhale, we're going to fold over our right leg. So squaring the hips behind us. Just going as far into the fold as we can while keeping our hips square. We want to press through that back foot and make sure it's really working hard for us, not just the front foot. Inhaling back up. And as we exhale, let's fold over the left leg. Same thing, squaring the hips. Trying to even them out as much as we can. Gazing towards the toe in front of us. Inhaling back up. And we'll make our way towards the top of the mat again. Next, we're going to work on balance. So we're going to bring the right foot toward the left inner thigh, coming to tree pose. We can bring our hands in front of the heart, finding a steady place to gaze at straight in front of us. Focusing on our breath, coming back to that deep inhale and exhale we were doing at the beginning of this class. And let's release the leg back down. And we're going to switch sides, bringing the left foot towards the inner thigh. Finding our balance, and if we fall out of it, that's okay. Getting right back in. Some days our balance is better than others, and usually one side is a little easier than the other. Finding our steady gaze point. And releasing back down. Let's come to the top of our mat and move through another vinyasa. Moving through our push-up. And from our downward dog, we're going to bring our feet forward to a seated position, however we want to get there, stepping or hopping. And let's move into a forward fold. Inhale as we lengthen, exhale, folding over our legs, maybe wrapping our hands around our feet, maybe grabbing our peace fingers or taking our peace fingers to our big toes. Or if we can't reach our feet, taking our hands to our ankles or our shins, wherever we can reach. Opening up the back side of the body here. And it's inhale as we release, and we're going to bring our hands back behind us a few inches, lifting our hips up towards the ceiling, taking a reverse plank. So this is a counter pose to that forward fold that we just did. We were opening up the back of our body. Now we're going to open up our chest and the whole front side of the body. And releasing back down. Next, we're going to grab hold of that right leg and start to rock the leg back and forth, opening up the hip. And we're going to bring that foot to the inside of our left thigh. Inhale up, exhale as we fold over that extended left leg. This is a nice stretch for the lower back and the hips. And if your knee is really far off the ground, you can also place a block underneath that bent knee, and that's going to help give that knee a little support so you can relax it more. Inhale up, exhale, release, switching sides. Bringing the left leg back towards us, rocking that leg back and forth. We'll bring the foot towards the inner thigh. Inhale as we start to square ourselves over that extended leg, and as we exhale, folding forward. Finding our Ujjayi breath here, our deep, victorious breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhaling up, exhale to release. We're going to slide the right heel back towards our sits bone. Inhale the right arm up. As we exhale, we're going to bind around that bent knee. So if we can, grabbing hold of the left wrist or fingertips, or just pressing the back of the hands towards the back of the body. Folding over the extended leg. Binds are really great for opening up the chest and shoulders. Pressing the foot of the bent leg into the mat. And keeping that extended leg active and the foot flexed. Inhaling back up. And release. And let's switch sides. Bringing the left knee back towards us. Inhale up. Exhale. We're going to wrap ourselves around that leg, binding the hands if it's in our practice. Exhale as we fold forward. We can also use a yoga strap to bind or even a dish towel. Or pressing the back of the hands to the back wherever we can reach. That's still opening up the chest, so all good poses. Inhale as we come up. Exhale, release. And let's bring the right leg back in. This time let's move into a twist. Let's inhale the left arm up. As we exhale, we're going to twist towards that bent leg. Hooking the elbow on the outside of the knee. Bringing our gaze towards the wall behind us, using our gaze or a drishti to help get us further into the twist. And just slowly releasing out of it. We'll switch sides. Inhale up, exhale, twisting towards the left knee. Trying to twist up and out of our lower back. Keeping our hips as even as we can, which I know is kind of hard in this pose. We want the twist to come from the upper part of the back and the middle part of the back, not so much the lower spine. And releasing back to center. Let's extend the legs out in front of us and roll down onto our back, moving into some modified back bends. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet to the mat about hip width apart. As we inhale, let's lift our hips up towards the ceiling, interlacing our hands underneath our hips. Pressing the soles of our feet into the mat, taking as much work as we can away from the lower back and the glutes. Staying here for just 5 breaths or so, and as we exhale, coming back down, giving ourselves a couple free breaths. And we're going to make our way into one more back bend. As we're ready, let's inhale back up. Gazing towards the navel or just up towards the ceiling. We do not want to be looking side to side. We want to make sure we keep our neck still. Pressing through the quads, pressing through the feet, and releasing the hips back down. Let's bring the knees in toward the chest and just start rocking back and forth on the spine, massaging the lower back. And let's rock up and down the length of the spine to get some momentum going. Making our way back up to seated, and as we exhale, folding over the extended legs here. This is a counter pose to all those back bends. So we are opening up the front side of the body, now we're opening up the back side of the body. Staying here for 5, maybe 8 breaths. Okay, keeping our gaze down towards our legs for this pose. And if we have a small round in our shoulders, that's okay. Inhaling back up and rolling onto our back again. We're going to set ourselves up for shoulder stand. So I like to start by bringing my feet overhead into plow pose, wiggling my shoulders next to each other, and then bringing my hands to my lower back. The feet come straight up towards the ceiling. The legs are squeezing together. We want to make sure the neck is comfortable here. So the back of the neck should not be flat against the mat. We want to make sure there's some space between the neck and the mat. So if it's too flat against the mat, maybe roll the hips a little farther away from the body. Once again, we only want to look up towards the ceiling, not side to side. That would not be good for the neck. And let's release the legs overhead into plow pose. The fingers are interlaced. Keeping the legs really active, pressing the feet into the mat. As we inhale, let's come back up. We're going to roll down into fish pose, which is a really nice counter pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, opening the chest up towards the ceiling, bringing the crown of the head down towards the mat, making a diamond shape with the legs. Enjoying our breath here, opening up through the throat. And releasing down to Shavasana or corpse pose. Staying here for as long as you need to, but trying to at least be here for 5 minutes or so. Enjoying the fruits of your practice. Thank you so much for sharing your practice here with me today. Hopefully you feel an energy boost after this practice and have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.